story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape. Our top stories tonight. The chairman of the Independent National Election Commission, Atari Jega, assures Nigerians of a more successful outing in April 11th gubernatorial polls. Also in this program, All Progressive Congress denies rumors of President-elect's promise to end insurgency in 2 months. And U.S. and French government congratulates President-elect Muhammad Buhari on victory at polls. Outside Nigeria, Kenya, Garissa University School attack. Death toll rises to 147. Thank you for joining us tonight. The Independent National Electoral Commission has promised to build on the success of the March 28 presidential and National Assembly elections in the subsequent one on April 11th. INEC Chairman Atari Jega gave the assurance while receiving the leadership of the National Assembly committees on electoral matters. The federal lawmakers had commended Jega on the good job of the commission, but the INEC chairman said he was looking forward to a better outing in the next phase of the elections.
Thankful to Almighty God that the election, the presidential election was peaceful, was generally commended as free and fair, and also was very peaceful. And as we prepare for the governorship elections and the state assembly elections on April 11, we hope that we can record even better success in terms of the organization and conduct of that election. And we hope that Nigerians will continue to show the patience and the resilience which they have already demonstrated in order to make that election much more successful than the presidential election. We prepare for the next set of elections scheduled for April 11th. We will do everything possible to address some of the observed challenges in the last election. We are committed to continue to improve the electoral process, and we've come a long way from 2011. But God willing, we know that there are bound to be challenges, and indeed there are some challenges. We have identified this, and we've already commenced doing our best to ensure that as many of them as possible are addressed before the governorship and the state assembly elections.
They have to improve on what happened. At least we have few more days to the governorship and the state assembly election. They have to make sure that the materials get there on time. If they're using the card, they have to make sure that the cards are tested, they are set, because some of them had problems with setting, to make sure that all those things are done before that election.
You know, there are hiccups here and there, but like we said, this is the first time it is being used in Nigeria, and there's every room for perfection, and you don't expect it to be perfect. However, I think it has achieved whatever purpose it was intended for. That is my take.
And now the All Progressive Congress Presidential Campaign Organization has denied that President-elect Muhammad Buhari promised to end the Boko Haram insurgency within 2 months. It described the rumor making the rounds in some media on alleged time frame as misleading. Spokesman for the campaign, Garba Shehu, explained that the president-elect would need some time after being sworn in to study the situation before drawing up a strategy with security chiefs. This, he argued, is why President Buhari did not and could not have set a 2-month time frame for stemming the tide of terrorism in the country in his media interactions. Shehu was, however, emphatic that the general was clear about the readiness to clear Boko Haram from the country. And now some Abuja residents are convinced that Boko Haram and other groups with terrorist agenda will not thrive under the incoming administration of Muhammad Buhari. They, however, want him to go a step further by reducing the number of unemployed people in the country. A number of them who spoke with CoreTV News on their expectations also look forward to a better infrastructure in the next couple of years.
This Boko Haram should be brought down and let it not exist in this country again. Secondly is unemployment. Our children are suffering. We are suffering a lot. Our children, most of them are unemployed, and this is causing a lot of havoc to this country.
My advice for APC and Muhammad Buhari is to be focused, give people dividend of democracy that we most of all really fought for, so that history will be written that he has delivered. That's what I have for General Buhari.
What I expect from our new president, the new generation, is to give us employment for the youths. Thousands of graduates will be on the streets seeking for jobs, and also to create more industries, create infrastructure facilities, provide social amenity to the needs, to the rural community.
And now the National Peace Committee has commended the police for exhibiting professionalism in the course of ensuring security during and after the just concluded March 28 elections nationwide. The committee, led by former head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar, stated this when 8 members paid a courtesy call on Inspector General of Police Sulaiman Abba at the force headquarters in Abuja. He explained that the visit had become necessary because of the police role in ensuring the overall success of the Abuja Peace Accord. Lending credence to the former head of state remarks was John Cardinal Onayekon, a member of the committee who equally appreciated the noble role played by the police during the elections. In his response, IG Sulaiman Abba described the visit as highly motivational and promised to make it a subject of lecture across the police formations ahead of the April 11 elections. And now the United States Secretary of State John Kerry has commended Nigerians and the federal government for the general peaceful March 28 elections. He also praised voters for exhibiting patience and resilience on election day in spite of the logistic challenges. In a statement issued by the U.S. Department of State, Kerry commended the Independent National Electoral Commission and its chairman Atahiru Jega on the use of card readers to increase the credibility and transparency of the electoral process. He added that while the U.S. government noted reports of logistic problems, it was convinced that such incidents did not undermine the overall outcome of the election. And our French President François Hollande has congratulated Nigeria's President-elect Muhammad Buhari and invited him to Paris for discussions on expansion of trade between France and Nigeria. Hollande, who spoke to Buhari via phone, facilitated with him on his success and noted the generally smooth electoral process which solidifies Nigeria's democracy. The French head of state assured the president-elect on his country's wish to continue the close relationship that existed with his predecessor Goodluck Jonathan, and reiterated France's support for Nigeria and its neighbors in their effort to combat the terrorist sect Boko Haram. Meanwhile, the police authorities in Abuja has warned residents to be moderate in celebrating the outcome of Saturday's presidential election. This, according to FCT Commissioner of Police Wilson Inalegu, is to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order in Abuja City and its environs. in Alego, who congratulated Nigerians on the peaceful conduct of the Presidential and National Assembly elections, said there was need to sustain the orderly manner in which people turned out to exercise their franchise. Command spokesman in Njuguri Maza quotes the Commissioner of Police as saying that his men are well prepared to deal with anybody or group of persons planning to cause a breach of peace in FCT. And now the police have described the death of former Inspector General Police Muhammad Duko Yusuf, popularly known as MD Yusuf, as a big loss. The elder statesman died on Wednesday night in Abuja after protracted illness. Reacting to the death, Force Public Relations Officer Emmanuel Ojukwu said it played a prominent role in transforming the police. He also advised young officers to emulate the good legacies left behind by the departed IGP. And now President Goodluck Jonathan has commiserated with the government and people of Katsina State on the death of former Inspector General Police Muhammad Duko Yusuf. He also condoled with Yusuf family as well as the Arewa Consultative Forum on the death of one of its leaders. In a statement issued by the presidential spokesman Ruben Abati, the president expressed his belief that MD Yusuf will long be remembered for his outstanding political courage during Nigeria's transition to democracy after years of military rule. President Jonathan recalled that as leader of the grassroots democratic movement at that time, the former IG displayed bravery and patriotism. And our President-elect Muhammadu Buhari has described the death of the late Inspector General of Police Muhammad Diko Yusuf as a great loss to Nigeria's democratic struggle. He noted in a statement in Abuja that Yusuf died at a point his valuable advice was still needed by Nigerian leaders. General Buhari recalled the role of MD Yusuf in Nigeria's democratic struggle during the military politics of self-succession, where he was courageous enough to speak even he was standing alone. According to Buhari, despite the constriction of the democratic space, the late MD Yusuf was the only politician who established his own political party to challenge a military self-succession agenda. He argued that only an indomitable Democrat like the former IG could have taken that personal risk. A former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has extolled what he described as the extraordinary courage of the late Inspector General of Police Muhammad Diko Yusuf. He, in a statement tribute to MD Yusuf in Abuja on Thursday, the former Vice President said the late senior police officer was one of the most courageous Nigerian politicians he had ever encountered. According to Atiku, many politicians retreated to a safe distance when the former Inspector General stepped forward to challenge the military-approved political parties to effectuate the self-succession agenda of 1998. The former Vice President, who was part of that democratic struggle, said the late Yusuf's sacrifices for democracy will not be forgotten in a hurry. Atiku noted that he was impressed by the late Yusuf's courage of conviction, challenging a self-succession agenda when the democratic space was shut against contrary voices. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. After the break, APC and PDP in Ekiti trade blames over House of Assembly attack. Find out more after this time out. Stay with us.
Dear Lagosians, thank you for voting at the All Progressives Congress APC in the presidential elections. But there's still more work to do. To continue the ongoing regeneration that started over 15 years ago in Lagos State, vote Akinwumi Ambode as governor and APC candidate for the Lagos State House of Assembly. The APC government in Lagos State will continue to provide roads and infrastructure, transportation, healthcare, education, housing, electricity, employment, markets, clean environment, security, and much more. Lagos is for us all, and this is not the time to experiment. Akinwumi Ambode has over 27 years' experience as a public administrator. Lagosians, on Saturday 11th April 2015, come out en masse and vote for candidates of the tested and performing political party APC.
Vote APC, vote APC for Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode.
Vote Akinwumi Ambode for Governor of Lagos State. Vote APC.
You have been watching CoreTV Primetime News. If you just joined us, a quick reminder of our top stories. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega, assures Nigerians of a more successful outing in April 11 gubernatorial polls. Also, the All Progressive Congress denies rumors of President-elect's promise to end insurgency in 2 months. US and French government congratulate President-elect Muhammadu Buhari on victory at poll. You can also interact with us on our social media platforms like our Facebook page is facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV. Give a space, the news. And our President-elect Muhammadu Buhari has called on all Nigerians to embrace peace this Easter and celebrate the nation's rebirth as they commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In an Easter message to Nigerians and the Christian world, he personally signed Nigeria's incoming leader, urged the citizenry to unite and use the season of Easter to celebrate both the resurrection of Christ and the rebirth of the Nigerian nation. According to a message released by the campaign office, Buhari noted that having overcome the anxiety and fear that trailed the elections, it is now time to rebuild the nation with the values of peace and love for one another. Now, the Nigerian Medical Association has also hailed the emergence of Muhammadu Buhari as the country's next president. The umbrella body of all medical and dental practitioners in Nigeria has also offered to collaborate with the president-elect. NME said in a congratulatory letter that it is prepared to contribute its quota to effective governance as well as to effort to overcome the challenge in the health sector towards changing the health sector. This, it noted, it's with a view to ensuring Nigerians attain universal health coverage. Nigerians seemed eager to know the permutations that will take place in the legislative arm of government as the main opposition party emerged the winner of the March 28 presidential and National Assembly polls. A correspondent to Oluwaseyi Adegoke met with a political scientist and a legal practitioner on this issue. Her report. Well, we'll bring you that report in our subsequent bulletins. Still in the spirit of triumph, Indigbo leaders in Lagos have met with Akinwumi Ambode, Lagos APC governorship candidate, and some other party stalwarts to congratulate the party on their victory at the just concluded presidential polls. The Indigbo leaders also implored Ambode to rest assured, promising that he will get the vote of the Igbos in Lagos come April 11th.
We have also sensitized our people to vote massively for APC during this gubernatorial election that is coming up on the 11th of April. Igbo leaders you can see here, Ezigbo of Lagos is here, many of us are here to come and have a meeting that will enable everybody to go back to his respective position. Location, market leaders are equally here to continue to sensitize their people to continue to vote in mass for APC in Lagos State.
With the outcome of the result on Saturday, is attestation of the fact that the much needed APC that this country needs has been given. Hence, on Saturday, 11th of this month, the Igbo in Lagos, what you see here today are Igbo leaders, market leaders. We shall convince our people, talk to our people, so that they will not go and repeat what they did on Saturday. On Saturday, most of Igbo people did sympathy vote to Jonathan. You understand me? That has come and gone. We're talking about Lagos, and we're talking about somebody that will, follow up to the bar that Fashola has.
And now back to our story earlier. Nigerians seem eager to know the permutations that will take place, and the legislative arm of government has the main opposition party emerged the winner of the March 28 presidential and National Assembly polls. Our correspondent Oluwaseyi Adegoke has details.
The Nigeria's National Assembly is a body saddled with the responsibilities of equally representing the Nigerian masses in each state, irrespective of its size in the Senate and the proportional representation of population in the House. With the main opposition party, the APC, about to make majority in both houses, the question remains, how will the shift in power affect the legislature?
In terms of the arrangement, I think the APC zoning arrangement initially was for the East, the Southeast, to produce the Senate president, which of course people were thinking that Senator Ngige would be the Senate president if he has won, but unfortunately he didn't win in his own senatorial district. So it will now be, maybe we go to Northeast or North Central. North Central will be Kwara State.
Nigerians look forward to how the second arm of government will perform their constitutional duties in the coming democratic republic.
Most of these international institutions to come in and be plugging your best brain for their own advantage, the public infrastructures, even the judiciary needs to be addressed. And I'm really delighted that we have a vice president that has given us a taste of what he's capable of doing right away from the time when he was the Attorney General of Lagos.
With the new government taking over on May 29, 2015, Nigerians only hope for the best in the coming administration. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News.
And now, following the reappearance of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, 19 APC lawmakers, the APC Secretariat has come under heavy attack by hoodlums suspected to be loyal to the PDP-controlled state government. The APC alleges that the attack was carried out with the full backing of state government. The state government, however, asked the APC to look inward and search elsewhere. A correspondent, Rashid, report from Ado Ekiti. We apologize, we can't bring you that story now. Away from that now, national leader of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, on Thursday had a closed-door meeting with another leader of the party and former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar. The meeting was held at the Abuja home of the former Vice President. Both men spent a couple of hours holding talks on what insiders describe as issues of national interest. CoreTV News, however, learned that the meeting is part of a series of consultations and consensus building on the transition team APC is setting up. The party is expected to come up with a committee that will relate with another one to be constituted by President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, the resident electoral commissioner for Plateau State, Godwin Akwanga, has commended the various security agencies in Plateau State for a successful election, devoid of the usual security breaches that the state is known for. And in recent times, Akwanga gave this commendation when a reporter approached him for assessment on the elections as regards Plateau State. He added that his staff put up a stellar performance by adhering strictly to the code and conduct of the Electoral Act. According to him, the AD or ad hoc staff got the needed training for them to do their duties, and it clearly shows because there were no complaints from any quarters.
Godwin Kwanga, that was recently moved from the Federal Capital Territory to head the Plateau INEC office, gave a word of commendation to the police and other security personnel that assisted during the presidential and National Assembly polls in the state.
I owe the success of this election to the security agencies, my staff, and the general public who have conducted themselves very well during the exercise.
The REC added that although the fair elections were achieved, he however pointed out that salient areas that the Commission needs to work on to meet up to international standards are seen in more developed climes of the world. Particularly, the issues of logistics, where the ad hoc workers were left stranded at their polling units when they finished very late into the night at various places in Jos.
What INEC is doing is not foolproof. There can be improvements in all areas, depending on the need for such improvements. So in all the areas, there can be improvements, like in the area of logistics, yes, the area of commencement of accreditation, the area of collation of resources and retrieval of materials, and so on. Whatever aspect of the elections that can be improved.
Kwangwa took out time to call on the politicians to remember that there can only be one winner at a time and should therefore avoid violence because there are other opportunities for them to recontest for the same position.
To advise Nigerian politicians to be calm, to take politics not as a do or die thing. When they contest election, they should know that there will always be a winner. And that winner, if there is one position, it will always go to one person. And that if they lose, they should exercise patience and hope that next time they are interested in the contest again. And if they do like that, the polity will be very sanitized and devoid of violence and crisis.
Thank you so very much, sir. Plateau State only witnessed one case of protest at Jos North local government area during the just concluded elections.
You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We take a break now. We're back with business, sport, and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical, women being so powerful yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
And in business now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has once again reiterated the strategic importance of the micro, small and medium enterprise to the growth of the nation's economy. This was stated at a recent three-day workshop on the 220 billion naira SMEs Development Fund organized by the Bankers Committee's Subcommittee on Economic Development and Sustainability, Gender in collaboration with the CBN, in line with the vision of the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele to promote financing to the MSC sector. According to the APS Bank, SMEs are the engine room for economic growth, vehicle for job creation, tools for poverty alleviation and wealth creation for any country's economy. In his welcome presentation, the Director of Development Finance Department of the CBN, Mudashiru Olaito, said the workshop was organized to cross-fertilize ideas and bridge the knowledge about the SME sector by the lending institution and to also correct the wrong perception of the risky nature of the sector. The Naira firmed more than 2% on the parallel market on Thursday as individuals sold dollars after a peaceful presidential poll. The currency firmed to 210 Naira on the parallel market from 217 to the dollar on Wednesday. The interbank opened at 199 Naira 50 kobo to a dollar, and again stocks celebrated democracy with highest historical gains of 990.25 billion Naira in a day. It wiped out previous year-to-date weakness, while yield on Naira bond shed 100 billions intraday to sub-14% level, even as Eurobond fell below 6% for the first time since December 2014. And now the yield on Nigerians 5-year bond fell further on a Thursday, shedding 25 basis points. The 2019 debt, one of the maturities listed on JP Morgan's government bond index emerging markets, has fallen more than 110 basis points in the past 2 days. The bond's yield was quoted at 13.86% in early trade, down from 14.11% on Wednesday. It stood at 15.03% on Tuesday. And now the federal government of Nigeria has declared Friday, April 3 and Monday, April 6, 2015 as public holiday to mark this year's Good Friday and Easter Monday celebrations. In light of this development, all exchange facilities nationwide, according to NSE, will be closed. The Nigerian stock market will resume normal business operations on Tuesday, April 7, 2015. We now join Sabena Izoku for Stock Market Report.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabena Izuku. Equities market on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian All-Shares Index appreciated by 3.92% to close at 35,728.12 basis points. The market capitalization once again rose to 12.13 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 1.17 billion units of shares, valued at 18.7 billion naira, were exchanged in 9,006 deals. Meanwhile, Nestle once again topped the gainers chart to close at 936 naira 60 kobo with a price difference of 44 naira 60 kobo, followed by 40 Oil, Seplat Oil, Nigerian Breweries, and Mobil. On the flip side, Okomo Oil topped the chart, trailed by Presco, Stanbic IBTC, Unilever, and Fitson. Meanwhile, on the trade side, Guarantee Trust Bank recorded an impressive bar gain to end the session with another maximum gain of 10.20%. The stocks hit a new historical high close, topping the traders chart, trailed by Fidelity Bank, United Bank for Africa, Zenith Bank, and Transcorp. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today. I am Sabena Izoku.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Thank you, Sabena. Brownson Wana is standing by for update in sports.
Our style, that's what he delivered. Here's that ball storming, now he takes Toyol with a flying lead.
Go, taking them out in the lead and really.
A very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Buwana. Super Falcons duo of Asisa Toshola and Desire Okbaranoze will join the Falcons camp on Friday and next week respectively. This is as coach of the team. Edwin Okun assured that the girls will be part of the team to play Mali for the return leg of the All-African Game qualifiers against Mali. African Female Footballer of the Year Oshola, who opened her goal account when she scored and assisted on Wednesday night as her team Liverpool Ladies won 2-1 against Birmingham Ladies, confirmed her arrival to Super Falcons media officer Gracious Akujobi from her base and promised that the girls will not disappoint in keeping the All-African Game ticket. FIFA President Sepp Blatter says world football must respect Africa. Blatter, speaking in his re-election bid in May, will attend the conference of African Football Congress next week. He added that he feels the refreshing skills and techniques fitness of the African teams are among the greatest attractions at the World Cup. The 79-year-old Swiss, who had received strong support from Africa during his 4-year term in office, added that the credit of this development must also go to CAF President Issa Hayatou. The elections will take place at FIFA Congress held from 29th May, and CAF 54 members, the biggest voting bloc on FIFA, will have a significant say on the outcome. Meanwhile, Morocco will have the chance to qualify for the next African Cup of Nations after their ban was overturned by the Court of Arbitration for Sport after withdrawing from the hosting in 2015 tournament due to concerns over the spread of Ebola. Morocco were banned from the next two editions of the competition by the Confederation of African Football (CAF). An appeal was lodged by the Royal Moroccan Football Federation, and that appeal has been upheld by CAS, meaning that national team will take their place in qualifying for the next edition, while their fine of €900,000 has been reduced. Equatorial Guinea stepped into the matter to host the tournament in Morocco's absence, with Ivory Coast eventually becoming the winner. Finally, our sports news tonight, in the world of tennis, Andy Murray will face Thomas Berdych in the Miami Open semi-finals. The 27-year-old Scot lost the opening set to world number 36 Thiem, but rallied to secure a 3-6, 6-4, 6-1 win. Murray will face Czech Berdych for the first time since winning January's 10th Australian Open semi-finals. Meanwhile, Serena Williams earned her 700th victory of her career as she booked her place in the semi-final with victory over Germany's Sebenliski. And that's my final whistle on Sport News tonight. Very big thanks for watching. I am Brownson Wana. Frank Omalape is standing by with news outside Nigeria.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And outside Nigeria now, Kenyan government officials says the number of people killed in an attack by Al-Shabaab Islamic militant on a university in northeastern Kenya has risen to 147. The operation to secure the Garissa University College campus was now over, with 4 attackers killed. According to information, officials say 587 students had been evacuated, 79 of whom were injured. An overnight curfew is being implemented in parts of the country. 4 countries near the Kenya-Somalia border, Garissa, Wajir, Mandera and Tana River, will have dusk to dawn curfews imposed, disaster management officials said. 9 critically injured students were airlifted to the capital Nairobi for treatment, they added, but each student had been accounted for by the end of the evacuation. And an outline agreement of the future shape of Iran's nuclear program has been reached after marathon talks with 6 world powers in Switzerland. Under the deal, Iran will reduce its enrichment capacity in exchange for phase sanctions relief. U.S. President Barack Obama says a historic understanding had been reached with Iran. The world powers and Iran now aim to draft a comprehensive nuclear accord by 30 June. The framework agreement was announced by the European Union and Iran after days of negotiations in Lausanne. The talks between the so-called P5 and 1, the US, UK, France, China, and Russia, plus Germany and Iran at Lausanne's Beau-Rivage Palace Hotel continue beyond the original self-imposed deadline of 31 March. Iran denies Western claims it is trying to build a nuclear weapon. It entered negotiations in order to see sanctions lifted. And that's it tonight. Just before we go, here is a recap of major headlines. We told you that the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Tahiru Jega, assures Nigerians of a more successful outing in April 11 gubernatorial polls. We also told you that the All Progressive Congress denies rumors of President-elect's promise to end insurgency in 2 months. And Finally tonight, US and French government congratulate President-elect Muhammadu Buhari on victory at home. Thank you for being part of CoreTV Primetime News tonight. I am Franco Malape on behalf of the entire news crew. Have a splendid night rest.